ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
जन्म शुभ दिने तव है सद्गुरो मुदित मानसावे त्वां नमामहे प्रार्थयामहे स्मरणमस्तु ते मधुर प्रेरकं सर्वदा हृदि भक्तिरस्तु नो निश्चला त्वयि ईश्वरे परे भक्त जनेति जन्म शुभ दिने तव है सद्गुरो मुदित मानसावे त्वां नमामहे त्वां नमामहे त्वां नमामहे।
अच्युताय नमः। ओम अनंताय नमः। ओम गोविंदाय नमः। ओम अच्युतानंद गोविंदेभ्यो नमः। ओम भद्रं कर्णे विष्णुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षीर्यजत्रा रंगे तुष्टवाहं सत्तनोभिः मदेवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धस्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नः पार्श्वो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ओम आगमार्थं तु देवानां गमनार्थं तु रक्षसा पूर्वे घण्टारवं तत्र देवताह्वानाञ्चलम् ओम शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। खर्वं स्थूलतनुं गजेन्द्रवदनं लम्बोदरं सुन्दरं प्रस्यन्दनमदगन्धलुब्धमधुपयालोलगन्धस्थलं दन्ताघातविदारितारिर्भिदैः सिन्धूरशोभाकरं वन्दे शैलसुतासुतं गणपतिं सिद्धिप्रदं कामदम्। या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा नीलाम्बुजश्यामलकोमलाङ्गं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं पाणो महासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं नमामि रामं रघुवं सनाथं। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वम् अरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। ॐ नीते नमो विश्वेश्वराय नरकान्नकतारकाय ज्ञानप्रदाय करुणामय सागराय कर्पूरकान्तिधवलाय जटाधराय दारिद्र्यदुःखदहनाय नमः शिवाय शान्ताय कारणत्रयहेतवे निवेदयामि चात्मानं गतिस्त्वं परमेश्वर। आदिदेव्य ज्योतिर्मः कालीमानमो मधुसुम्भमहेशमर्दिनि महाशक्तये नमो। ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिवस्वरूप त्वं नान्यथा चराचरस्य पालिका नमो नमो सदा चराचरस्य पालिका नमो नमो सदा। नारायणाय नलिनाय तलोचनाय नानावशेषितमहाबलिवैभवाय नानाचराचर विधायक जन्मधीश नाभिपुटाय पुरुषाय नमः परस्मये। सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणि नमोस्तुते। सृष्टिस्थितिविनाशानं शक्तिभूते सनातने गुणाश्रये गुणमये नारायणि नमोस्तुते। जय नारायणि नमोस्तुते। लक्ष्मी क्षीर समुद्र राजतनया श्रीरंगधामेश्वरी दासीभूत समस्त देववनिता लोकैकदीपाङ्कुरा श्रीमन्मन्दकटाख्य लब्ध विभव ब्रह्मेन्द्र गंगाधरा तां त्रैलोक्यं कुटुम्बिनीं सरसिजः वन्दे मुकुन्द प्रिया वन्दे मुकुन्द प्रिया। ओम गंगे चैव चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिंधु कावेरी जलेस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु इदं पात्रे गंगादि सर्वतीर्थानि आवाहयामि गंगादि सर्वतीर्थेभ्यो नमः त्वं पूरा सागरोत्पन्नो विष्णुना विधृतः करे निर्मितः सर्वदेवैस्तु पांचजन्य नमस्तुते ओम please take flower or rice, whatever is given on the right hand, and put on the left hand and put on the right knee. Please repeat after me. Mamo pata samasta durita kshetwara Sri Parameswara Prityartham Subhabhyam Sopane Muhurte Padmajaha Brahmanaha Dvitiya Praharate Sridhara Kalpe Vaivasvata Manvantare Astavinsatitame Kaliyuge प्रथमे पादे क्रमचद्वीपे क्रमांकवर्षे मेरुः पश्चिमे पार्श्वे उत्तर अमेरिकायां मिसिसिपी मिसूरी अल्वा अल्बामा इल्लिनी इत्यादि 16 जीवनदी परिवृते प्रशांत महासागर तीरे राक्षी मक्षिणी पर्वतयोः मध्य प्रदेशे अस्मिन् वर्तमाने व्यावहारिके प्रभावादिनां षष्ट्याः संवत्सराणां मध्ये शीप्लवनाम संवत्सरे उत्तरायणे ग्रीष्म ऋतौ वैशाख मासे कृष्ण पक्षे द्वादश तिथौ शनिवासर रेवती नक्षत्र युक्तायां श्री शंकर पिल्लाई नामधेयस्य सुभाष अग्रवाल नामधेयस्य दीपक चांदे नामधेयस्य कौशिक जोशी नामधेयस्य नैना जोशी नाम्न्याः कंचन पटेल नामधेयस्य गीता पटेल नाम्न्याः निर्मिता धोलाकिया नाम्न्याः अशोक धोलाकिया नामधेयस्य तेषां समस्त परिवार वर्गाणां अस्माकं सकुटुम्बानां क्षेम स्थैर्य वीर्य विजय अभय आनंद आयु आरोग्य अष्टैश्वर्य अभिवृद्ध्यर्थं समस्त दुरित उपशान्त्यर्थं समस्त सर्वमंगल भवाप्त्यर्थं धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष चतुर्विध फल पुरुषार्थ सिद्ध्यर्थं श्री चिन्मयानंद परंपरागतानां गुरूणां वेदांत पाठबोधकानां वेदांत शिक्षणे निरतानां शिष्यवर्गाणां च योगस्तदनानां आस्तिक्ये निरतानां च श्री सद्गुरु प्रसाद श्री चिन्मयानंद स्वामिनः आशीर्वाद ज्ञान वैराग्य भक्ति सिद्ध्यर्थं सर्वोपरि श्री नारायण चरणारविंदे अचला भक्ति सृष्ट्यर्थं सदा मन शांति अवाप्त्यर्थं सर्वकार्येषु सफलता अभिसिद्ध्यर्थं श्री सद्गुरु स्वामिनः यावशक्ति ध्यान आवाहनादि षोडशोपचारैः गुरुपादुका पूजा अद्य यथाकालोचित द्रव्यैः करिष्ये अद्य करिष्ये. Now the rice went up and then touch the asana what was sitting like this. Om Pratibdaha Varikushtaram Sishataram Chandaha Kurmo Devata Asane Viniyogaha Prithvi Tvaya Tataruka Devi Tvam Vishnunatruta Tvam Chadharayamam Devi Pavitram Puruchasanam Ado Devignya Parismapyatam Ganapati Pujam तदनन्तरं आत्मपूजां बीजपूजां गुरुध्यानं च करिष्ये अपौपस्पृश्य अमपवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थां गतोऽपि वा यस्मरे पुण्डरीकाक्षं सभायाभ्यन्तरशुचि अपवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थां गतोऽपि वा यस्मरे पुण्डरीकाक्षं सभायाभ्यन्तरशुचिः. ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पद आमशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादरम्. ॐ महागणपतये नमः. Now we will do the dhyanam. So all of you please keep your hands folded near the heart and then repeat. If you know, do that in a brilliant. ब्रह्मानंदं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. अस्मिन् बिम्बे श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरुं ध्यायामि आवाहयामि. अखंड मंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. Please repeat. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. आवाहयामि अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। आसनं समर्पयामि। अथ पाद्यं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। पाद्यं पाद्यं समर्पयामि। तत पाद्यं स्थावरं जंगमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। हस्तयोः अर्घ्यं अर्घ्यं समर्पयामि। अथ आचमनीयं चिन्मयं व्याप्य सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। मुखे आचमनीयं समर्पयामि। अथ स्नानीयं सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्न विराजितपदाम्बुजः वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्यो यः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। औपचारिक स्नानं समर्पयामि। अथ वस्त्रं चैतन्य शाश्वत शांतो व्योमानीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनाथपदातीतः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। वस्त्रार्थं अक्षतां समर्पयामि। अथ यज्ञोपवीतं यस्य देवे परा भक्तिः यथा देवे तथा गुरो तस्यैते कथिता यर्थाः प्रकाशन्ते महात्मनः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। यज्ञोपवीतार्थं अक्षतान् समर्पयामि। अथ कण्ठलेपनं ज्ञासक्तिसमारूढः तत्त्वमाला विभूषितः भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता च तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। अन्नस्य उपरि कुङ्कुमचूर्णं कर्मबन्धनं am starting. Whoever is given the responsibility can chant join later. I should start. Om Ajaya Namaha. Whoever is given the responsibility. Om Advitiya Nikitaya Namaha. Om Sasapyaya Namaha. Om Tasakshini Namaha. Take about the matter to answer start and I'll stop.
Om Ajaya Namaha. Om Avyayaya Namaha. Om Avinashine Namaha. Om Achintyaya Namaha. Om Aprameyaya Namaha. Om Advitiyaya Namaha. Om Aniketaya Namaha. Om Anushasanapriyaya Namaha. Om Antahsakshine Namaha. Om Antaryamine Namaha. Om Anandaya Namaha. Om Atmaswarupaya Namaha. Om Angla Bhasha Viduttamaya Namaha. Om Ishwaraya Namaha. Om Udara Hridayaya Namaha. Om Utsahavardhakaya Namaha. Om Ekasmai Namaha. Om Omkaravide Namaha. Om Karunasagaraaya Namaha. Om Karmaparayanaya Namaha. Om Kalatitaya Namaha. Om Kaivalyasvarupaya Namaha. Om Kritatmane Namaha. Om Kritakrityaya Namaha. Om Gita Jnana Yajna Pracharakaya Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gunatitaya Namaha. Om Granthakrite Namaha. Om Chinmayaya Namaha. Om Chinna Samshayaya Namaha. Om Jagadatmane Namaha. Om Jagat Sakshine Namaha. Om Janapriyaya Namaha. Om Jitendriyaya Namaha. Om Jiva Brahmaikya Vide Namaha. Om Jivan Muktaya Namaha. Om Jirnamandirodharakaya Namaha. Om Tapovanashishya Namaha. ॐ तपस्विने नमः ॐ तापनाशनाय नमः ॐ तीर्थस्वरूपाय नमः ॐ तेजस्विने नमः ॐ देहातीताय नमः ॐ द्वन्द्वातीताय नमः ॐ दृढनिश्चयाय नमः ॐ धर्मसंस्थापकाय नमः ॐ धीमते नमः ॐ धीराय नमः ॐ धैर्यप्रदाय नमः ॐ नारायणाय नमः ॐ निजानन्दाय नमः ॐ निरपेक्षाय नमः ॐ निःस्पृहाय नमः ॐ निरुपमाय नमः ॐ निर्विकल्पाय नमः ॐ नित्याय नमः ॐ निरञ्जनाय नमः ॐ परमाय नमः ॐ परब्रह्मणे नमः ॐ पावनाय नमः ॐ पावकाय नमः ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः ॐ प्रसन्नात्मने नमः ॐ फलासक्तिरहिताय नमः ॐ बहुभक्ताय नमः ॐ बन्धमोचकाय नमः ॐ ब्रह्मनिष्ठाय नमः ॐ ब्रह्मपराय नमः ॐ भयनाशनाय नमः ॐ भारतगौरवाय नमः ॐ भूम्ने नमः ॐ महावाक्योपदेशकाय नमः
ॐ महर्षये नमः ॐ मधुरस्वभावाय नमः ॐ मनोहराय नमः ॐ महात्मने नमः ॐ मेधाविने नमः ॐ यतात्मने नमः ॐ यज्ञकृते नमः ॐ लोकप्रसिद्धाय नमः ॐ वाग्मिने नमः ॐ विभवे नमः ॐ विनोदप्रियाय नमः ॐ विनयशीलाय नमः ॐ वीतरागाय नमः ॐ वेदान्तवेद्याय नमः ॐ शान्ताय नमः ॐ शान्तिप्रदाय नमः ॐ शास्त्रोद्धारकाय नमः ॐ शुद्धसत्त्वाय नमः ॐ श्रुतिपारगाय नमः ॐ श्रोत्रियाय नमः ॐ सन्न्यासिने नमः ॐ समबुद्धये नमः ॐ सच्चिदानन्दाय नमः ॐ सर्वहितचिन्तकाय नमः ॐ सत्यसङ्कल्पाय नमः ॐ सन्तुष्टाय नमः ॐ साधवे नमः ॐ सुमनसे नमः ॐ सृष्टे नमः ॐ स्वयं ज्योतिषे नमः ॐ स्थितप्रज्ञाय नमः ॐ क्षमाशीलाय नमः ॐ ज्ञानमूर्तये नमः ॐ ज्ञानयोगिने नमः ॐ ज्ञानतृप्ताय नमः ॐ नित्यशुद्धबुद्धमुक्तस्वरूपाय नमः। ॐ नित्यशुद्धबुद्धमुक्तस्वरूपाय नमः। ॐ नित्यशुद्धबुद्धमुक्तस्वरूपाय नमः। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
नामांकित परिमल मंत्र पुष्पा समर्पयामि। अथ धूपं न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परमै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। अघनासक अयं धूपः धूपानन्तरम् आचमनीयं समर्पयामि। अथ दीपं मन्नाथ श्री जगन्नाथः मद्गुरु श्री जगद्गुरु तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय गुरवे नमः। ज्ञानं प्रभवितं दीपं दीपं संदर्शयामि। दीपानन्तरम् आचमनीयं समर्पयामि। अथ नैवेद्यं गुरुरादिरणादिश्च गुरु परमदैवतं गुरु परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम भूर्भुवस्वः तस्य वितुरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ओम प्राणाय स्वाहा ओम अपानाय स्वाहा ओम व्यानाय स्वाहा ओम उदानाय स्वाहा ओम समानाय स्वाहा ओम ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा। ब्रह्मार्पणम् अस्तु। हरि ओम तत्सत्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। नानाविध सुमिष्ट द्रव्याणि मधुरफलानि आम्रफलानि नारंगीफलानि समर्पयामि। मध्ये मध्ये अमृतपानीं समर्पयामि। हस्तप्रक्षालनं समर्पयामि। मुखप्रक्षालनं समर्पयामि। करोत्तरकं समर्पयामि। अमृतपिधानमसि। यस्येन सर्वं यत्प्रकारेण मान्यते यदानन्देन मन्दन्ति तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम नक्षत्र सूर्यो आदिमकन्द्रतारकम् हेमा विद्युतो आदितो यमति तमेव भाति समन्भाति सर्वं तस्य भाषा सर्वमिदं विभाति। ओम श्री सद्गुरुदेवाय विद्महे परब्रह्मणे धीमहि तन्नो गुरुः प्रचोदयात्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। मंगलनीराजनम् संदर्शयामि नीराजनानन्तरम् आचमनीयं समर्पयामि द्राक्षारयामि। All of you please raise your hand and take the Karpuniraya. अथ पुष्पांजलि। Now take some flower in your hand. गुरुरेको जगत् सर्वं ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिवात्मकं गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मात् सम्पूजये गुरुः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
पुष्पांजलि
पुष्पांजलि
समर्पयामि। अथ प्रदक्षिण नमस्कारः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। यानि कानि च पापानि कर्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि तानि विनश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपदे पदे अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष महात्मना। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
अनंत कोटि प्रदक्षिण नमस्कार समर्पयामि। अथ राजोपचारः। एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधि साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
छत्रं समर्पयामि।
छत्रं समर्पयामि।
चामरं वीजयामि।
चामरं वीजयामि।
व्यजनकं सन्दर्शयामि।
संदर्शयामि।
गीतं श्रावयामि।
गीतं श्रावयामि।
व्याप्तं जगति गुरु महिमा अपार महिमा गुरु महिमा अपार महिमा गुरु महिमा अपार महिमा गुरु महिमा अपार महिमा गुरु महिमा महिमा
किं वचनीयं गुरुमहिमा किमवचनीयं गुरुमहिमा
किं वचनीयं गुरुमहिमा किमवचनीयं गुरुमहिमा
किं वचनीयं गुरुमहिमा किमवचनीयं गुरुमहिमा
गुरुमहिमा गुरुमहिमा अपार महिमा गुरुमहिमा
गुरुमहिमा गुरुमहिमा अपार महिमा गुरुमहिमा
अणोरणीयान् गुरुमहिमा मधुमहीयान् गुरुमहिमा
अणोरणीयान् गुरुमहिमा
मधुमहीयान् गुरुमहिमा अणोरणीयान् गुरुमहिमा मधुमहीयान् गुरुमहिमा
अणोरणीयान् गुरुमहिमा मधुमहीयान् गुरुमहिमा
गुरुमहिमा गुरुमहिमा अपार महिमा गुरुमहिमा
गुरुमहिमा गुरुमहिमा अपार महिमा गुरुमहिमा
अज्ञाननाशक विज्ञान पोषक प्रज्ञा प्रबोधक गुरुमहिमा
अज्ञाननाशक विज्ञान पोषक प्रज्ञान बोधक गुरुमहिमा
गुरुमहिमा गुरुमहिमा अपार महिमा गुरुमहिमा
गुरुमहिमा गुरुमहिमा अपार महिमा गुरुमहिमा
सच्चिदानंद गुरुमहिमा हे भावय हे मन गुरुमहिमा
सच्चिदानंद गुरुमहिमा
भावय हे मन गुरुमहिमा सच्चिदानंद गुरुमहिमा भावय हे मन गुरुमहिमा
सच्चिदानंद
गुरुमहिमा भावय हे मन गुरुमहिमा 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 अपार महिमा गुरुमहिमा
गुरुमहिमा अपार महिमा
गुरुमहिमा 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 अपार महिमा गुरुमहिमा
गुरुमहिमा अपार महिमा
गुरुमहिमा गुरुमहिमा अपार महिमा गुरुमहिमा
ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। समस्त राजोपचार समर्पयामि। अथ प्रायश्चित्तं मंत्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दन यत्पूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं तदस्तु मे। पूजा काले मंत्र तंत्र स्वर वर्ण रूप दोष प्रायश्चित्तार्थम् इदं नाम त्रयजपं करिष्ये। ओम चिदाय नमः। ओम चिदाय नमः। ओम अनंताय नमः। ओम अनंताय नमः। ओम गोविंदाय नमः। ओम गोविंदाय नमः। यस्य स्मृत्या च नामुक्त्या तपः पूजा क्रिया विसो न्यूनं संपूर्णतां याते सद्यो वन्देतमच्युतम्। आवाहनं न जानामि तवार्चनं पूजां चैव न जानामि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष जनार्दन ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः क्षमा प्रार्थना समर्पयामि आत्मनिवेदनं कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्य सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि अनया पूजया सर्वात्मकः श्रीगुरु प्रीयताम् हरि ओम तत्सत् हरि ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः यथास्थानं प्रतिष्ठापयामि सोमार्थे क्षेमाय पुनरागमनाय च ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम
व्याप्तं जगत्येन चिदात्मभावात् प्रज्वालयथान्येर्चराचरं यत् संन्यस्य सर्वं सदात्मभावे स्वयं समस्तं प्रभवोऽयस्तु निस्सङ्गनिर्मोहिपदं प्रपद्य ब्रह्मात्मभावेर्याचितो यः श्रीसौम्यकाशीश्वरेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामिनमोपनाय श्रीसौम्यकाशीश्वरेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामिनमोपनाय अखण्डभावशिवरूपतत्त्वं श्रीस्वभाव परमात्मसत्यम् सत्यस्य सत्यमस्तुतियैव नम्यः परब्रह्मः परमेश्वरो यः आद्यन्तहीनो निरपेक्षकीर्तिः स्वतः स्वरूपेण निपुल्यतो यः श्रीसौम्यकाशीश्वरेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामिनमोपनाय श्रीसौम्यकाशीश्वरेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामिनमोपनाय मन्तुं न शक्यो मनसा कदाचित् वक्तुं न केनापि तथा न वाचा बोद्धुं प्रबुद्ध्या तथा न शक्यः बुद्धातिसाक्षी खलु केवलो यः सर्व सर्वेन्द्रियार्थीनपदस्थितोऽपि सर्वेन्द्रियप्रेरयता परो यः धीसोऽम्यकाशीर्महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी नमो मनाय धीसोऽम्यकाशीर्महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी नमो मनाय शुद्धातिशुद्धं च सदा प्रबुद्धः विश्वेश्वरो देववरः प्रसन्नः व्यापी परब्रह्मनिर्मोहमानः वेदान्तसारः शरण्यः देवो वशी सर्वभूतानि सर्वाधिपति नमः स्वामी नमो मनाय श्रीसौम्यकाशीर्महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी नमो मनाय अशब्दमस्पर्शमरूपमच्च तथा रसंवेद्यमनन्तवच्च निरञ्जनं नेत्रमेकं बुद्धेः परं निर्गुणसत्त्वं च गुह्यं गभीरं गगनोपमम्यं पश्यन्ति निर्धूतमनायतीन्द्राः श्रीसौम्यकाशीर्महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी नमो मनाय श्रीसौम्यकाशीर्महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी नमो मनाय तेजोमयं देव्यमवीशक्तिं सनातनं शान्तमनामयं च अद्वैतमाश्रयमचिन्त्यरूपं परात्परं नित्यमनन्तमाद्यं ज्ञानप्रकाशेन विशुद्धसत्त्वः ब्रह्मशक्तिस्वापरिचिन्त्यमानम् श्रीसौम्यकाशीर्महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी नमो मनाय श्रीसौम्यकाशीर्महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी नमो मनाय तस्मै नमः स्वामी नमो मनाय
अनंत संसार समुद्रतार नौकायिता
अनंत संसार समुद्रतारा नौकायिताभ्यां
गुरुभक्तिदाभ्यां वैराग्य साम्राज्यद पूजनाभ्यां
नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां
कवित्ववाराशिनिशाकराभ्यां दौर्भाग्यदावां पुदमालिकाभ्यां तुरीं
कृतानं रविपत्ततेभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां
नाथाय यो श्रीपतितां समीयुः
कदाचिदप्याशुधरेत्रवर्याः मूकाश्च वाचस्पतितां हिताभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां
नालीकनिकाशपतहृताभ्यां
नानाविमोहादिनिवारिकाभ्यां नमज्जनाभीष्टततिप्रदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां
नृपालिमौलि प्रजरत्नकान्ति सरिद्विराजत् चषकन्यकाभ्यां नृपत्वदाभ्यां नतलोकपङ्क्तेः नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां पापान्धकारार्कपरम्पराभ्यां तापत्रयाधीन्द्रखगेश्वराभ्यां जाड्यादिसंशोषणवाडवाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां समाधिषट्कप्रदवैभवाभ्यां समाधिदानव्रतदीक्षिताभ्यां रमादवाङ्घ्रिस्थिरभक्तिदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां स्वार्चापलानामखिलेष्टदाभ्यां स्वाहा सहायाक्षधुरन्धराभ्यां स्वान्ताच्च भावप्रदपूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां कामादिसर्प प्रजगारूढाभ्यां विवेकवैराग्यनिधि प्रदाभ्यां बोधप्रदाभ्यां धृतमोक्षदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां
We have got so many relationships in the life while living. The success of life is for a worldly-minded person is making relationship. As many relationships are possible. Father, mother, brothers, then grandchildren, grandfather, grandson. But when it comes to Guru, Guru is, if one has got Guru, because what one will get from the Guru is much more than not a single relationship can provide. That's why they Tomeva Maharaja Pita Tomeva, Tomeva Bandhusta Sakha Tomeva, Tomeva Vidya at the end, scripture is unable to even mention mentioned. All the relationships bound together and made one rope kind of thing, that is good. Yesterday, Parabhakti, Tatha Deve, Tatha Guru. That means if one has a guru, then one has got God. If one has got a dad, one has got a headache is there. Mom can create headache. Beta can create headache. Betty can create headache. But guru, everybody will try to bind us to this world. If they can bind us to this world better way, then to that extent they feel happy. I will get. Already you have found a girlfriend? Good. Till now, not found? In this way, the world will always try to bind us. But Guru is the only person who will try to free us from this bondage. He will always talk regarding the moksha, not bondage. Bondage, that language is completely not in the dictionary of the world. How one will be liberated? How one will be free from all these cycles of from the bondage of sorrow, tension, storage, anxiety. Now, how many people are worried? People are dying like insects. Insects die a better death. What one can do? Nobody can do anything. We're completely helpless. Only our ego is completely cast in these situations. Our relationship, they cannot help us at all. But Guru doesn't teach us that. Guru doesn't bind us to this world. So, when something is happening or something is not happening, he doesn't matter it. That is the greatness of Guru. Gu means heavy, which is very also secret. Gu also very secret. That means, can somebody tell what is the meaning of secret? We tell we have got secrets, isn't it? Whom we are dating, secret. We don't tell. Everybody knows in the world because it's quite well. And when buying a house, Swami, please don't tell. After the everybody knows. The neighborhood, you are going 10 times there, everybody knows. So it is secret. Please don't tell. Everybody knows. Secret. Because in our secrets are very but the secret what Guru has, it is called the Vihatamam. Vihatamam means it is the most secret. That means it is the most sacred. Which is the greatest secret? It has to be sacred. You know what is called a secret? Secret is that one thing becomes many. It's a secret. Guru knows that. Okay. That invisible has become visible. That imperishable has become is appearing as this perishable world. For that reason, like of course we also know we are talking, but we read books and listen to today you must have heard Pujya Gurudev's. Anybody has heard today? Okay, good. See how he spelled. See how many years before it was. We are also talking like a mic and shouting like a donkey or something. So yes. We are nobody can be mathematician by reading the mathematics. Nobody can be dancer by reading dance. Okay, and in the pop also. But special. If one has got Guru, one has got Guru. Okay, Guru is not a person who will be there. Okay, give himself do the Guru. If Guru is a much deeper essence. If one has got a Guru, it is told that knowledge is bound there. One will be there. It cannot even. Guru is there, knowledge is not taking place, it will never happen. Once one has the relationship with Guru, all of the relationships are Pujya. Pujya means it is, what is that in this word? Like Tuchya. Tuchya means it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because everything is in one place. Secret. So the entire universe is a secret. Only Guru knows. So you know, in the somebody watching YouTube, somebody is cutting a fruit. Okay? That person, how he is cutting a fruit, and the fruit he is cutting, but it is in art. Would not take it that apple, we are also cutting apple and we give nobody to one piece people take, and he's making his selling the fruit such a way, if you stand to the flower and give him, he has a secret. Art, we don't know how that is there. It is amazing. We don't know that. We don't know that. But somebody who is the Supreme Lord, he has that art. He has not given us that art. Everything can be made art. Like some people cooking. Cooking is also an art. Guru knows an art. This entire scripture to reveal the scripture, telling the scripture. It is an art. It is an art. So everything in this world is that only Guru knows that. Guru knows the secret of this entire creation, and Guru knows that how our entire this topic to read, one topic because Guru only knows that one. That's why a Guru is very, very important in and Guru is a she has to go and break to that, and that will come to the lucky. Better stop. But Gurudev has said, he will love. At the same time, he knows. I know one time when Brahman said, he wrote a letter against some committee member to Pujya Gurudev. When Pujya Gurudev came to that center, then Maharaj is very dynamic. Then all people, it was not lecture, it was just 3 o'clock or something. Pujya was taking some little tea. We were sitting, so people were sitting there. Then his Prabhupada came with a file, because the official work, you have to sign or something. But Pujya just banned that Prabhupada left and right. He is not able to move from that place, okay? He just 2 drops of tear just coming on his channel. He can close his eyes. It is say how Pujya would do. He told that don't complain. Don't complain. Because if you complain, then remaining in the mission, putting in the center, and whatever you complain after some days, those things will come from a river. After some days, that person will be like that. See, he wants to save us. That's why he told others will not tell him. Others will not tell him. You told, okay, you are telling brother, no, you are not happy. When they see the Prabhupada, how do they? Okay. He has never lost that aspect. He can do both the things at the same time. After that, okay, again, everything is Back to normal. And then we are so blessed. So blessed. And we have seen him, we have listened to him, we have been very close contact with him. But whatever he has told, that's what really little impact on us. Little impact. Then we are the disciples of our Lord. Then we have the Guru, then it's part of that. We had a Guru, or we have a Guru, and we are the disciples. The discipleship will not go away. It will stay on to eternal. And we are so fortunate that we are celebrating many times. How many times we express our gratitude? Nothing. It is actually no value at all. It is good. And we are allows to do it other than whether we deserve or not. That he has kept us in his mind, he is giving us the opportunity to grow and to grow and grow. That is the Guru has given us opportunity, and we should all take advantage of that and make our life better. What is the next slide?
Now we will listen to some reminiscences of Pujya Gurudev through the memories of some of our senior mission members. This will be played one by one, and we can all enjoy through them what Gurudev was, Pujya Gurudev was like. Thank you.
Yes.
Hari Om. My name is Parag, and on this day of Gurudev Jayanti, I would like to share some words and experiences that I had from my encounters with Sri Pujya Gurudev as a child. I had the great blessing of being able to meet Gurudev a number of times when I was a kid growing up, and this was in the late 1980s and early 1990s. And you know, growing up as a kid, you look towards your elders as role models. And I think that all kids have this natural curiosity to seek out wise people and to learn how I should live my life and what I should value. Especially when you look to see how wise people handle adversity and challenges that arise. Now, of course, the first people that you look up to as a kid are your parents. And then slowly adults in your extended family and your teachers. And every time you subtly incorporate, you internalize a small piece of their wisdom into yourself. And bit by bit, that molds your character. And now just imagine if one meets a guru, a realized master, and they are the embodiment of the infinite made flesh here and now. Just think how profoundly that can influence a child growing up, to be in the presence of someone like that. And the overall experience is joy, the sense of just radiant happiness, just from even being in the same room. When I was small, we would have camps in Allendale, Michigan during the summer. And we were very fortunate to spend time with Gurudev during Diksha. And being a child, I didn't really know what to expect. Why we would sit on the floor and in the dining room and watch Swamiji eat. It seemed kind of strange at first. And what I remember happening, though, is whatever was happening in my mind prior to walking in the room, whatever plans I had, whatever petty squabbles I had with other kids, or who I was going to play soccer with or when I was going to go swimming. When I walked into the room, all of that would just disappear. Gurudev had this immense presence, and it just enveloped you in the here and now. And there was no outside world. There was no soccer match. There was no swimming to go to. There was just this moment, and that deep, joyous smile that he had, and that signal to you that nothing else in the outside world really mattered. What was important was here and now. And that was my first lesson, but I don't think I really took it to heart back then. And I was a kid, and maybe I didn't take it seriously. And so at one of these camps, there was a banquet, a large banquet in a hall with probably several hundred people in it. And Gurudev was at the head, and I was sitting with my friends far in the back. And of course, as a kid, you don't really take that seriously. And so while the banquet was going on, I got a new video camera, and I was really excited about this. Now all of us have smartphones and we have video cameras with us all the time. But back then it was something special. It wasn't something that everybody had. And so I was filming all my friends and kind of goofing off. And I wasn't really paying attention to what was happening on the dais and what the grown-ups were doing at the front. And Gurudev had this unique way of distributing prasad. He would basically, in a large room, take the prasad, whatever it's fruit or chocolates or whatever it may be, and just throw it across at each devotee that was sitting there. And so here I was, and I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't being present to what's happening. And suddenly from the front of the room, from the dais, maybe 50 feet away, there's an apple that comes flying at my camera and then smash right into the lens. Well, I was definitely paying attention now. Let me tell you, and that is the greatness of a guru. He shows you exactly what's needed at that moment in your development as a student, just to move one little bit on that spiritual path. And he meets you where you are, wherever ignorance is shrouding you at that moment. And it helps you just to open your eyes just a little bit wider. And so on this day of Gurudev Jayanti, I'm very happy to share these dear memories of our Sri Pujya Gurudev, and I bow in remembrance at his feet. Hari Om.
Guru Kripa hi kevalam, 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 Guru Kripa hi kevalam. Guru se bada na koi nata, Guru se bada na koi nata, Guru pita hai Guru hi mata, Guru pita hai Guru hi mata, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम। गुरु चरणन की महिमा न्यारी, गुरु चरणन की महिमा न्यारी, गुरु की करुणा सबसे न्यारी, गुरु की करुणा सबसे न्यारी, वश में उसके सृष्टि सारी, वश में उसके सृष्टि सारी, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम। जिसने है इस वेद को जाना, जिसने है इस वेद को जाना, गुरु को पाकर और क्या पाना, गुरु को पाकर और क्या पाना, छोड़ा उसने मान अपमाना, छोड़ा उसने मान अपमाना, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम। गुरु की कृपा जो कोई पाता, गुरु की कृपा जो कोई पाता, परम भाग्यवंता कहलाता, परम भाग्यवंता कहलाता, जीवन अपना सफल कर जाता, जीवन अपना सफल कर जाता, गुरु कृपा ही केवलम, 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 गुरु कृपा ही केवलम।
Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. My spiritual quest started after meeting Pujya Gurudev for the first time in 1975 at the Vadodara station on my way to Mumbai for a visa interview to come to the USA. I did pranam as a newlywed. 2 years later, he called us in Chicago to meet him at a certain address. I sang the Nirvana Shatkam there, and he asked me to start a Balvihar. I did not know what it was. And he also asked me to make a recording of some bhajans and dedicate it to the mission, which finally Pujya Guruji actually fulfilled for me. Thank you, Guruji. The next most illuminating thing was when we hosted him in our house. What a spark. Wow, what an experience for the Kumbhabhishekam of the Hindu Temple of Greater Chicago. And finally, my most memorable one was where I call it the roti incidents, where I gave him a roti without ghee at somebody's instructions, and he did not like it. I cried, I got angry, I didn't talk to him. The next day at the Chicago Collective Diksha, he asked for me and wanted me to give him the roti. What compassion, what love. And that was in 1993 July camp. When we had to take a group picture, he made me sit next to him at his feet, put his hand on my shoulder and put my hand on his leg, and then said, Roseanne, we're ready, shoot now. That was it. That's my greatest, most memorable, treasured memory. And I'm so glad to have now been serving Omkara and evolving as I prepare for my study groups and talks. Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you. Hari Om.
Our family is very fortunate to have contact with Gurudev. I used to be in charge of many camps to take care of him. The last family camp we had was in Michigan in 1993. Gurudev was very sick in Canada before he came to our camp. Dr. Apparao brought him to the camp and told me, Soma, you know how to take care of him. No food restrictions. Those who know Gurudev know what does that mean. He was very happy, and each time he was having food, he used to call and say, where is Soma? He never used to do that before. Another thing was, he told me not to go for meditation classes and stay with him. Then he jokingly laughed and said, tell me who is not attending meditation. And before he left, in the last camp, before he left to LA, he was getting into the car. He took his cane and touched my shoulder and told me, you took care of me very well. I'm very happy. Don't worry about your children. They will do well. I never feel that Gurudev has left us. He's always with us. Whenever I have any problem, I think about him. He is always there blessing us. Hari Om.
Chinmaya Mission
Shankara Rupa Shivananda Rupa Veda Vyasa Sadguru Rupa Shankara Rupa Shivananda Rupa Veda Vyasa Sadguru Rupa Atma Rupa Jiva Rupa Atma Rupa Jiva Rupa Gurudeva Gurudeva Sachidananda Gurudeva Sachidananda Mahima Guru Mahima Guru Mahima Guru Mahima Guru Mahima Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Hari Om Chinmaya family. This is Dinesh Pillai speaking to you from DC. I just want to thank everybody for inviting me today. For those of you who don't know me, there may be some there that don't. I'm Shankar Pillai and Soma Pillai's youngest son, and my take and my view on Gurudev may be different than some because I really don't know any life without Gurudev. Since I was a young kid, I grew up at his feet. I didn't really think of him as, I learned later on, I didn't really look at him early on in life as some otherworldly figure or something that was greater than anything more than a grandparent, honestly, when I was a young child, because I never met my grandparents. They had passed on before I could remember, before I ever got a chance to meet them. And Gurudev kind of filled this kind of a void to me where he was this fatherly, reverent figure that my dad absolutely revered, and my parents did. And so I looked at him in this way, and he used to call us before we had cell phones and all that. He would call the home, talk to my dad, and we would have some conversations on the phone before he would talk to my dad as I got a little bit older. So he played a little bit different role in my life like that, obviously, with Chinmaya Mission and growing up and learning Vedanta on the weekends and helping, build the mission into what it is today. We learned about things in a different way, but my initial interactions were just that it was just natural to have someone like him in your life because that's the only thing I knew. I didn't know anything other than that. What was interesting was that looking at my friends, my American friends, growing up, it was an interesting process because back in the day, we would actually, Gurudev would stay in our house, and we would have these weekly, and in summertime, there would be these retreats that would be happening at the junior college down the street. And we lived across from this huge park. And so you would see all this migration of Indians, like a pilgrimage to our house to see Gurudev. And my friends would be playing in the park across the street. And so whenever I come out after people would come and go, they're like, what the heck is going on in your house? And I'm like, oh, there's a Swamiji, we call him, Gurudev here, Swami Chimayananda's here. And he's like, and they would be like, is it like the Beatles at your house or what? Like, what's going on here? I'm like, no. He's a religious figure. This is what it is. And they're like, oh, so he's like Jesus. I'm like, well, that's a little closer, but it's still, a little different here. But and so they would, every summer it'd be like, oh, the Beatles are coming back, Jesus is visiting again at Dinesh's house. So it was just kind of like a friendly joke that was there with my friends, but they understood how important it was to me and to my family, what this meant. But it was very hard to put in a context with my friends about this person that was in our family and our life. one other thing that I would, as my mom was saying on her video was, I've never felt like Gurudev's left us. I remember very well the day that he passed. My dad was at his bedside in California with him, and my dad called me up, and I just remember how sad he was on that day. And then that's when I felt pain, because I never seen my dad, who I idolize and I look up to, feel so much pain. And it was funny because I was talking to him about the things that Gurudev had taught us about when we're talking about these things about, your vasanas, there's good and bad vasanas. And these are things, these attachments that we have in life. And actually for Gurudev, he, just like we all have learned in this, is just a stepping stone. This is just one step going on to the next. And I'm talking to my own father, who has taught me all these things. I'm trying to walk him through these things as a teenager, as a young teen, trying to tell these things to my dad. It was kind of ironic. And we've continued to have these kind of conversations throughout life as we grow up. But I really remember that. And I remember the impact on my parents and having that relationship with him, and then knowing him and having this community. And that's been the greatest thing. We didn't have a Budri before. We had to build it. We had to grow it and create that vision. And we watched our parents do that. And for our generation that grew up, that first generation coming up through the mission, it was a really important process and an important time. And you can see it in the kids that have grown up into the young adults now in our generation. And so I think that was probably the greatest impact Gurudev had. If you look at why he did what he did, why he built what he built, to create an impact beyond just being a Hindu, beyond just being an Indian. He actually wanted to take Hinduism and Vedanta and bring it to the masses, bring it to the people, but don't stop short of just doing this. We should think about doing more, in the context of seva, doing more for a community, doing something greater. And I've always said that generation, and you continue to see it from the kids that come from Chinmaya Mission, there's a greater sense of responsibility, a greater sense of respect for others, and to do more. And I think that's the greatest impact he's had on my life, in that sense, is that I think his mission that he really wanted has really come true, and it's our responsibility to carry that forward. In my own life, I'm a pediatrician. I work in DC on purpose. I work with inner city kids that are less fortunate, bringing clinics and care that they would have otherwise not had, because I think that's the right thing to do. I've seen what my sister does, what my brother does, what a lot of the families have done coming from the mission, and just trying to set up and do things, not because you have to, but because you feel that it's right. And you need to give to those that are less fortunate. And I think to Gurudev, I think it was very important, especially that impact on the younger generation. And I've really taken that to heart. I think that, I've made it my life's work to do that. And there's no other greater way that I can pay it forward, but also pay respect to what he's done for me and my family. So I just wanted to give you that little tidbit about Gurudev and what he's meant to me and my family. And thank you guys for giving me the time.
of this great saint, Swami Chinmayananda Maharaj, who dedicated his life till the very end to the awakening of the world to the wisdom of the scriptures. Here are a few snippets of how he taught.
Shut up in your mind, not your mouth. Next thought need not come. And get out of this misconception that you are a body. You are something more than a body. You're not a body. You're all-pervading, eternal essence, the self, the consciousness, the life in you. The life in you is the life everywhere. Discover your identity with God, the one life everywhere. And that cannot be done until you shut up. So then, all that I can tell you is shut up and get out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shitoshna Sukha, all your experiences of heat and cold, Shitoshna, Sukha Dukkha, joy and sorrow are all in the way you contact the world. There are some people, a little hot, and you open the window. And a little close to the window. You go on hymning and Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha, or joy and sorrow, success and failure, loss and gain, is all by your contact with it, these various experiences. And then what am I to do then? I am here in this world. Agama payano anitya. These are all agama pai. They come and go. One moment hot, another moment cold. If you go on complaining, you can continue.
And there we have it, the fascinating journey of how a child from a small town in Kerala went through a seemingly normal life and began searching for something deeper. And in that search, decided to renounce the whole world. Swami Chinmayananda was born, and in less than 50 years, he left a legacy of a global organization, hundreds of institutions, and millions of followers devoted to a single aim, the realization of the noble self. Let us take a few minutes to look at this journey. At that just exact moment, he suddenly opened his eyes and looked straight into mine. A mere look, that was all. I felt that the Maharishi was in that split moment looking deep into me, that he knew everything about me, even things I did not know myself. He walked out that evening a free man. He knew for sure that the path to riches was not for him. He then turned to the writings of the Indian sages. The questions in his heart were now thundering louder than ever. He wondered about these holy men. Was there any truth to their claims of having found eternal bliss? I am going to the Himalayas to see what those holy men really do. I'm going to get the inside story. Sat on a base outside the Shiva temple and had 2 hours of meditation. Wonderful. No words to express the inner peace I enjoyed, the concentration that I achieved. For the first time, I tasted a bliss in meditation. My only prayer to my Guru Maharaj and to Shankara is that by their grace may I never fall, that I may drink deeper at the fountain of the eternal divine nectar. that moment, Swamiji knew his life's calling. Filled with ecstasy, he decided to take the truth of the Hindu scriptures to his fellow countrymen. Not straight out of the book, but exactly as taught by the Guru and realized by the student. He thought to himself, why should Vedanta only be taught in holy places and only to a select few? Why should its true meaning continue to be misinterpreted and misunderstood? I will take this knowledge in all its pristine glory to the plains below for the enrichment of humanity.
गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है बस एक यही मेरा बल है गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा अज्ञान भरे संशय से भरे विपरीत विचारों से भी भरे मन के अंधकार को दूर करे वचनामृत से तव बोध कृपा गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा पद पग जीवन पथ पर गुरु साथ मेरे रक्षक बन कर बिसरू न कभी प्रेममयी आनंदमयी भवदीय कृपा गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है बस एक यही मेरा बल है गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा
Hari Om. Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda was a Yoga Purusha, divine embodiment of pure love, compassion, and divinity. Once during an inauguration of his Jnana Yajna, Swami Chidananda, then the head of Divine Life Society, was visiting. During inauguration, Swami Chidananda said that Swami Chinmayananda is embodied Vedanta, walking and talking Vedanta. In the presence of Sri Gurudev, one completely forgot his own identity. Each and every one of us felt as if Gurudev loves us the most. Even if he just had a glance at us,
This can only happen in the presence of God. He truly knew the heart of each and every devotee and took care of everyone. After each bhiksha, devotees got his handwritten letter with a signed photograph. At the time when he was admitted in the hospital, before his samadhi, we all gathered in hospital waiting room with heavy and sad hearts. As everyone left after multiple prayers of Mrityunjay mantra, in the night I stayed back. My heart was very heavy. My mind could not focus. I was tired, sad, and answering multiple phone calls which were coming for Gurudev's health. At about 3:30 to 4 a.m. in the morning, a call came. I got up, and the voice on the other side said, "This is Chidananda. I have come from India to see Swami Chinmayananda, and how is he doing?" I answered sadly that Sri Gurudev is in critical condition. Swami Chidananda said, "Guru is never critical. Take your shoes off, go to his room, and bask in the presence of Brahman." Anyone who had even a glimpse of Swami Chinmayananda in their life had total Ishwar darshan. My heart was light, my mind was clear, I felt like a butterfly. I went to the 3rd floor in the critical care room and felt and basked in divinity. I realized Gurudev is none other than Brahman. It's not the way he walks, nor the way he talks, but how he understands and makes me know myself. I take refuge in him. He knows my heart and guides me on the path. He's a yogi, he's a sage, he's my Guru. Om Tat Sat.
ನಂದೀಶವಾಹ ಪೆರುವಾರಪತೆ ಮಹೇಶ ಮಂದಾಕಿನಿ ಸಲಿಲ ತೀರ ಕೃತಾಧಿವಾಸ ನಂದಾದಿ ಭಕ್ತ ನಿಚಯೈರನು ಸೇವ್ಯಮಾ ಸಂತಾಪನಾಶನ ವಿಭೋ ತವ ಸುಪ್ರಭಾತಂ ಲಿಂಗಸ್ವರೂಪ ಫಣಿಭೂಷಣ ಸುಂದರಾಂಗ ಯೋಗಾಸನಸ್ಥ ಕರುಣಾಕರ ಪುಣ್ಯಮೂರ್ತೆ ಭಾಗೀರಥೀ ವಕನ ಜಾತ ಸುಗೀತ ಕೀರ್ತೆ ಮಾಂಗಳ್ಯನಾಥ ಭಗವನ್ ತವ ಸುಪ್ರಭಾತಂ. श्रीकण्ठदेव शिवरुद्र महेश शम्भो बन्धो नारायण प्रियमदापह दीनबन्धो हे चन्द्रशेखर मनोहर वेशधारि श्रीनीलकण्ठ भगवन् तव सुप्रभातम् कैवल्यदायक दयामय शूलपाणि सर्वैश्च देवमुनिभिः परिसेव्यमानः हे विश्वरूप सकलामय दुःखहारि भव्यप्रदायक गुरु तव सुप्रभातम्
Chant Mahapuja mantra. Chant Mahapuja mantra. Mahapuja mantra.
You cannot chant. All of us can chant. All of us can chant.
Oh, yeah. But I will take the names. So now we chant Mahapuja mantra for Lord's blessings on Shankarji's, Shankar's birthday. And then Subhas Agarwal, then Deepak Chande, then Kaushik Joshi, and then wedding anniversary.
Yes, yes.
Okay, again. Shankarji's birthday, Subhas Agarwal, birthday, Deepak Chande, anniversary, marriage anniversary. And Nanaji, their anniversary. Kanchan and Geeta Patel, their anniversary. Janita ji and Ashok Dalage, yes, anniversary. Yes, which are Mahapuja. Also, our Swami Adhyatmanand ji who had come here so years before he had come here. He attended Samadhi yesterday in Ahmedabad. Swami Adhyatmanand ji used to develop society at Parampara, but he has his own ashram in Ahmedabad, very close to our ashram. He attended Samadhi in the Puri. So, yes, so ashram should be so we chant Mahapuja mantra for God's blessings on the textbooks and on all of us. Again. Mrityormokshe amamritat. Om Trambakam Yajamane Sugandhim Purushkevardhanam Urvarukamiv
Veeramaruti, 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 Rutamaruti, Bhaktamaruti, Paramabhaktamaruti, Veeramaruti, Gambhiramaruti, Gambhiramaruti, Gambhiramaruti. Namaste astu bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Triambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikalagnikalaya Alagnirudraya Neelakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Sriman Mahadevaya Namaha. Parivarantam Nyayena Margena Marimahisha Go Brahmanenga Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Varshashalini Deshoyam Shovarahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirvayaha Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaः Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkhavan Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Please stand up, please. Stand up for the pledge. We stand as one family, bound to each other, ever ready to fight against all the world tendencies. Giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the Lord ours. We believe that the service of people is devotion to peace. We know our responsibilities, give us the ability and courage to do them. All that's
वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात् ॐ महादेवेश विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् परब्रह्मणे धीमहि तन्नो गुरु प्रचोदयात्
Then bow down here for your obeisance to Gurudev and then take it. And then somebody can distribute that outside. And after getting